What's going on, y'all? Today's Tuesday, June 2nd, 2020. You know what that means? Warcub 0 hour. Let's get that milk. So guys, we're gonna do something a little bit different today, but before we get that, yes, I have shaved my beard, and yes, it does make my hair look even larger and more like a mop, so thank you for that. So if you've been watching the show for any period of time, you know there's a format. On Tuesdays, it's inspirational quotes. On Fridays, it's interview a staff member. But I kind of want to get away from that today. I kind of want to talk about the stuff that's going on in the world. Y'all, let's talk about riots. Let's talk about protests. I got a 2-year-old. I don't want him growing up in this. You know, for one, I don't like violence. I don't think anyone likes the violence. But two, the bigger issue that I have with this, I don't like the oppression. I don't like the hate. I don't like the looks that individuals give others because of differences. I want my kid growing up loving everybody. I want my kid to see differences as something to be celebrated, not something to you see and you go the opposite way. Right? That's not cool. So Warcubs, let's give ourselves some challenges right now. Let's do it. First off, you see this school? That's that school building. If you are an 8th grader, or y'all moving up to 8th grade, y'all learned U.S. history. You've learned a lot about it so far. And if you're in Miss Matthews' class, I'm sure you can do all the states and capitals still. But here's the deal: we know how this nation was founded. We know that, people were oppressed. Nationalities were oppressed. We know that Africans were taken by other Africans and sold to Americans, for work, and that oppression began. And at that point, any person with dark skin was oppressed, was looked at as a slave. And you can tell me, Mr. Alsbrook, hey dude, things have changed, laws have passed, people are free. Oppression doesn't work like that, man. That's not how oppression works. You don't wave a wand or make a law and it's just gone. It still exists. It's still in the fibers of your society. And hundreds and hundreds of years later, we still see that. And we're still feeling that, And this is what I'm talking about. I don't want my kid to grow up like this. So first challenge. 1, it might be uncomfortable to talk about race. Especially, hear me out, especially if you're white. If you're white, it might be uncomfortable to talk about race because how we've grown up, because our social groups, might be a little white. So 1, let's not be afraid to get out of our social groups to talk about race. Let's talk about race with others. Let's talk about our differences and the things that people have endured, and let's just talk. I mean, what is so wrong with just talking? So first challenge, don't be uncomfortable talking about race. And I'll take it a step further. Don't be afraid to talk about race with someone opposite of your race. It's real easy as a white guy to go talk to another white person about race and racial tension. It's a whole different story to go talk to someone who's a Black American. Okay? That's whole different. But I tell you what, you are going to grow from that. You are going to learn things about yourself and that other person. That's what it's all about. I mean, us just coming together, and we say we're one nation, Well, we need to start loving everybody. We need to stop, maybe having our social groups a little too plain. I think we need to get out of our comfort zone. So that's the first thing I want to say. 1, don't be uncomfortable talking about race. Talk to other people about it. Talk about their experiences and that kind of thing. My second challenge is for us to stop downplaying other people's experiences. And yeah, this is, I guess in this situation, talking a little bit about, white people. But I feel like I have heard too much talk about the riots and the protests. And I'll be honest, the riots, I'm not for violence. I'm not for straight up destroying all this stuff. I'm not for that. But I've heard people downplay protests and things like that. And it's like, why, once again, oppression just doesn't go away because you make a law or because a little time's passed. It doesn't work like that. You know, it's in the fibers of our nation. It's a big deal. So let's stop downplaying it. You know, let's just. And I think that goes back to stepping out of our social group, talking to other people, celebrating their experiences, celebrating their differences, and just, I mean, stop downplaying it. You're not in other people's shoes. I'm a white male, and that's it. That's what I am. I'm a white male. I can't put myself and talk about these different experiences that a black male might have, that a black student might have at this school. I can't talk about that. I can see it, but I don't know what that person's feeling. I don't know how that feels. Third challenge is for us to love everybody, y'all. It doesn't matter if we think they're weird. It doesn't matter if we think people are different. It doesn't matter if they have different color skin than us. We got to be able to start loving everybody. And I know that it's hard for us. You know, we're only human, but we got to get there. We got to get there. You know, as a parent, I got to show my kid that. As a counselor, I got to show you kids that. Warcubs, I got to be able to show you that, you know, it sounds weird, but I love you guys. And, you know, it doesn't matter where you come from, your background, your culture. I got your back. And I need to be able to show that. And it doesn't matter who you are, if you're a student, if you're a parent sitting at home watching this, you got to be able to do the same thing. And, you know, there's some different quotes that I want to talk to you now about. First one comes from a guy named Thomas Merton. It goes something like, our job is to love others without stopping to inquire whether or not they're worthy. You know, I think a lot of times we take love as, is this person worthy of it? Are they the same as me? If they are, then they get my love. We need to stop that. We need to get that out of our head. And then, you know, just everything going on right now. I think one of the greatest quotes, that Martin Luther King Jr. ever said was, you know, darkness cannot drive out darkness, only light can do that, and hate cannot drive out hate, only love can do that. And once again, y'all, I'm white, I'm a white male. I can speak to that experience. But I can also speak to the experience of knowing that these protests and these things going on, you know, we need to be serious. We need to take this serious. We need to change in our society and the way we think as people. We need to be able to step out of our social groups. We need to be able to have relationships with other cultures, people of different cultures, and we need to embrace that, and we need to, you know, celebrate that. So I want y'all to go get some milk, y'all. I want y'all to be thinking about the stuff going on in the world today. I don't want you to downplay it. I want you to take it serious. I want you to work on yourselves. Look inside yourself and see if you are someone that, you know, loves others no matter what. And think about, you know, is there something in my life that I need to change? Like, if I look at my social groups, is it, you know, is it people all just like me? Maybe I need to start learning about some different cultures, seeing what they're going through, seeing their experiences. Maybe just get out there and do it, you know? Let's get that milk, y'all. Let's make this world a better place. Thanks.